So a few days ago, I got the chance to watch Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Mutant Mayhem. And I honestly really like this movie, but you know how things go. You watch a really good project from a franchise, and then you start to reignite your love for the franchise, and then you start watching the other stuff in the franchise. So I watched the Michael Bay Ninja Turtles movies, and then I watched the 1990 Ninja Turtle movies, and I'm still like, I'm still getting my way through shit, but whatever. But I'm here to talk about the Michael Bay Ninja Turtles movies, because I actually used to like these movies, and after rewatch, I still like them. But they're not that good. But the funny thing about Mutant Mayhem and the two Michael Bay movies is that they're actually kind of similar. But that's what I'm here to explain, so let me get into it. And now you're probably asking yourself, why is this dude starting off with April O'Neil in a Ninja Turtles video? And that's exactly what I was thinking when I started watching the TMNT 2014 movie. Now the movie actually starts off with Splinter giving a little voiceover explaining the Foot Clan and the Turtles, yada yada yada. That's actually another thing that Mutant Mayhem does better, but I'll get into that later. But after the little monologue from Splinter, we see April. And the movie tries to start off with us feeling bad for her. And this would be fine, I guess, if the scenes doing this weren't so unnatural. And they spend so long building up what April's life is like in a goddamn Ninja Turtles movie. And then we get scenes like this.
An attempted Foot Clan robbery at the docks in Brooklyn last night.
Hold on, the scanner said the gunshots were heard, but there were no reports of any Foot Clan activity.
That's because whatever they were attempting to do was stopped.
What are you doing in Brooklyn anyway? Was there a trampoline convention?
I was in Brooklyn because I was reporting, not sitting behind my desk McNaughton. There was this guy, I didn't see him clearly, but he was swinging these giant shipping containers and knocking these guys into the river. There is a vigilante that is fighting back against the Foot Clan. There's a huge story here.
O'Neil, I think you found Superman. That's cool.
Now let me tell you why this doesn't work. Who the fuck is supposed to believe that a random goober that looks like this is gonna be bullying Megan Fox of all people? He's out here like a goddamn Disney Channel bully.
What are you doing in Brooklyn anyway? Was there a trampoline convention?
And then finally, we get to Mutant Mayhem April, and she was actually done really well in this movie. She didn't take up too much screen time, and when she is implemented into the movie, it's actually more of a moment for the Turtles than it is for her. It's them finally getting into some action starting to protect the city. Not only does this show us a bit of April struggling, but it's also a good moment for the plot and the Turtles to be pushed forward as characters. And both Aprils actually both start off initially trying to use the Turtles for their own personal benefit. That's kind of just basic Ninja Turtle stuff. Both of them wanting to use the Turtles for a big story. But Mutant Mayhem April is actually tied more to the Turtles. Both April and the Turtles are outcasts in this world, and this is an April that we can actually believe was someone who was bullied at school. And then by the end of Mutant Mayhem, this April actually winds up conquering and just coming to terms with her fears, not only finally having the confidence to get on camera, but then she actually throws up on camera, and this time she's just like, you know what, fuck it. I thought that was really cool. But the real defining difference between these two Aprils is that one doesn't need cringy Disney Channel bullying scenes, and also doesn't need pretty much 70% of the movie's screen time for her writing to mean anything. The only development Megan Fox's April had in the first movie was not using the Turtles for her own benefit. Whereas with Mutant Mayhem April, she needed very little screen time to get through two character arcs, and they do this in about half the screen time for her, and this arc still hits harder than anything from Megan Fox's April. And this whole end scene with the humans fighting with the Turtles was really cool. And speaking of the Turtles, it's time to talk about the Turtles now. And I absolutely love the Turtles in this movie. And I know you've heard this from a lot of other people that have talked about this damn movie, but this movie genuinely makes the Turtles feel like 14, 15-year-old kids. And they make the movie appeal to modern day pop culture, and that's kind of how the Turtles sort of form their personalities, but they still feel like the Turtles that we all know and love. They also use a bit of old pop culture like Ferris Bueller's Day Off. And now the modern stuff may not age all that well 5 to 10 years from now, but for right now, I think they did really well. At least a lot better than a lot of other things that try to make things appeal to modern audiences. But unlike the Michael Bay movies, this movie actually spends a lot of time with the Turtles and always keeps them as the main focus. All of them struggle with the same thing, but it's their differing personalities that make them different, and that internal conflict that they all share is the core of this movie. And it's something that parallels amazingly to the villain of this movie, which again is a billion, trillion, any number you can think of better times than I can't speak. He's just a lot better than the Michael Bay movies. He's a lot better than the other Ninja Turtle movies villains as well too. Where the 2014 and 2016 movies give us a bland villain who wants to poison the city or take over the world for money and power, Mutant Mayhem gives us a villain who actually has depth, a great reason behind his motives, and his motives are actually an opposite parallel to the Turtles' internal conflict in this movie. When the Turtles first meet Superfly, they are ready to stop him, but they quickly realize that they are other mutants just like them. So they give in to their temptations and forget about stopping Superfly entirely entirely, and all the other mutants that are a part of this gang. And all the other mutants in this gang, they all struggle with the same things that the Turtles do. And that's wanting to meet other people like them and to also feel accepted by the outside world. And I think Ice Cube does a really good job at playing this character. He's very charismatic and intimidating at the same time, so it makes it believable that he's like the head guy of this little mutant gang. And when his plan starts to go a little too far, the Turtles start to realize that this isn't right. And later in the movie, after getting captured by a big evil corporation, they still believe that not all humans are bad. And so they go to stop Superfly, and then they eventually make an impact on the other mutants who didn't really want to go with Superfly's plan to begin with. And this is where I think Ice Cube's acting and how he was characterized in this movie is really well done, because it makes sense that the other mutants wouldn't have really tried to step up to him. And I just think the opposite parallel connection between the Turtles and Superfly is just really good, even influencing and paralleling Master Splinter as well. Superfly's father figure wasn't accepted by the outside world and other people, and that influence over him was something that added to what made Superfly become the way he is. Both Superfly and Splinter both tried to go into the human world at one point, and I really like how it shows this parallel of how these two reacted to being rejected by the outside world. And Splinter has a really great moment of realization that he may cause the Turtles to end up like this because of the way he was raising them. And this is the difference between a generic power or money-hungry villain and a villain who is actually well written. Mutant Mayhem takes all the depth and motivation from the 2016 and 2014 movies that were lacking and actually making it good, while also combining the intimidating presence that Shredder was in the 2014 TMNT movie. And funny enough, Shredder was supposed to be in this movie, but according to the writer and director Jeff Rowe, he wanted the villain to be a mutant that shared empathy with the Turtles, who could easily tempt/corrupt them. And I'm actually really happy they made this decision. The second TMNT movie, Out of the Shadows, which technically wasn't directed by Michael Bay, but if you watch this movie and you tell me this doesn't feel like a Michael Bay movie, I'm calling bullshit. But this movie actually tried to touch on this element of the Turtles and, like, you know, them wanting to be accepted by the outside world. And, you know, the 2016 movie did it about like 30% as good. Now it's time for everything else about the movie. First things first, the artwork for this movie was absolutely insane. I'm always gonna be a sucker for the Spider-Verse art style because it's like the best thing ever created in my opinion. I think all the environments look great, and how there's these things that look intentionally messy and there's like these little scribbles that will like pop up or around the screen and like around the environment sometimes. It's very fitting for the film as well, as it's a film about kids, and the scribbles and intentional mess ups look like it's part of a children's drawing. And I love the action scenes as well. My favorite one was probably the one where like they like took inspiration from, I don't even know what movie, but it looks like this. I should be playing it on the screen right now. But the creators for this movie actually cited Into the Spider-Verse, a couple Jackie Chan movies, and a couple other movies that I haven't watched as an influence on the visual look of the film. And speaking of Jackie Chan, the writer apparently wrote a letter to him requesting him to play Master Splinter, and I think Jackie Chan did a great job, as did all the other actors. They filled all the side characters with a lot of personality that I really enjoyed, and all the kids who played the Turtles did a really good job recording as well. Apparently the cast recorded their roles in like groups together rather than independently from one another, and a single recording could include up to 7 of them, and this allowed the cast to play off of each other as well as bringing in some improv to the performances and dialogue. I don't know where I saw it, I forget, it was just like something I was scrolling by and I saw, but apparently a lot of the dialogue in this movie was improv by the teenagers who played the Turtles, so I think that's really cool. Like, that was like, they did a really good job. I also thought this movie handled its tone really well. It took itself seriously when it needed to, while still allowing this movie to still keep its heart and charm. I also think the editing was really good and it was well paced. The only thing that I think could have been better paced was like some things in the beginning of the movie as well as like the final battle. And then finally, the last thing that I thought was really solid was the score and OST. I don't really have many issues with this movie other than some parts of it, like the ending feeling a little bit safe/semi-generic, which I guess can be expected for the beginning of what looks to be either a trilogy or a duology. And also apparently they're making a spin-off TV show, which I hope is still animated in the same style, but I'm guessing it won't be due to like probably like the budget for a TV show being smaller. But I doubt we'll be getting anything soon because of the actors and writers strike. But hey, good on the writers for getting their bag and good on the actors for getting better work conditions. And you know, even though I've been ragging on the 2014 and 2016 TMNT movies in this video, I honestly still like both of these movies. They're just fun action movies with some good humor, and they actually really do a good job at capturing the Turtles' personalities. But what Mutant Mayhem does is matches actual substance in its writing that the Michael Bay movies lacked, and it mixes the substance in the writing with all the other good elements of the Michael Michael Bay movies. And it also has the heart that the original 1990 movie had. And that's honestly why I like Mutant Mayhem so much. I honestly think it's the best Ninja Turtles movie. Overall, I'd give this movie a solid 9 out of 10. Let me know what you all thought of the movie. I want to give a shout out to all my Patreons who support me already. I'm going to be doing a giveaway for Marvel Spider-Man 2 at the end of the month for all my Patreons who support me already and those who want to support me even like after this video or before the end of the month. So if you guys are interested in that, you can get more info in my YouTube community tab. And the giveaway isn't the only thing that the Patreon will give you benefits for. You'll get the debate role on my Discord server, as well as early access to my YouTube videos and suggestions that I will consider for my YouTube videos. I thank you all for watching this video. Hopefully y'all enjoyed this. Hopefully y'all enjoyed the movie. Thank you all for watching, and yeah.